Hi, Robbie. Hi, this is Sarah, and I'd like to welcome you to the Knitting and Tangents podcast. I think I'm back on schedule now. It's been about 2 weeks. It took me forever to get the last one uploaded. I did it 2 or 3 times, I think, and each time it failed. So finally I did it one more time and it worked. I hate it when that happens because it takes, mine are short, they're about 6 hours, 30 minutes, but it does take about 6 hours to upload, but that's kind of a pain. So yeah, when it doesn't work, and then you have to do it again, and you have to do it again, and when you do it, it sort of messes up the internet for the rest of the house. You can do things, but it's very slow. Oh my god, it's so slow. Anyway, it is a beautiful sunny day. If I squint, it's because there's a window right behind the camera, and it's bright. And the camera's very dark, so I can't quite see where it is. I put something that I hope is shiny enough to draw my attention. I'm going to start practicing looking up more instead of looking down, because I know I do that a lot. And hopefully I won't look off into the corners of the room too often either. Anyway, it's sunny, it's going to be warm, it'll be 76 out today, which is 25 Celsius, I think. No, that's at 23 Celsius. And then on Saturday, which there are festivities on Saturday, it's going to be 85 here and thunderstorms, so it's going to be damp and hot. And 85 is about 29 Celsius, so we're jumping sort of head first into real summer. Once it gets much over 75, I'm not happy. We do have a couple small air conditioning units we put in. We have one upstairs so that we can sleep, and one down here so that when it's way bad and really hot and awful, we can turn it on and get a little relief. It's the sticky season. We go from winter, which is pretty much snow all the time, to spring, which is pretty much mud all the time. And then it's summer when it's hot and it's pretty much sticky all the time. And then fall is nice. I like fall. We'll wait for that. So that's the weather. We have dogs today. They're in the house. They may bark as the summer brings the people out. So our neighbors spend the day out in their yard, which is directly across the street, and they put their little dogs out there with them, and occasionally, tensions erupt, whether it's in the house or not. So we'll just pause there if we need to, gather our thoughts, and hopefully get these two settled down pretty quickly. I do say a lot too. Things I need to work on. I have a new obsession. Before knitting, I gotta get into my new obsession. And it may become a new video series, which I'll have to look into. I don't know. I am very new at it, and there's a lot of experts out there, but I don't know. Have you heard of bullet journals? I know some people are going, oh yeah, that is so, 3 years ago, whatever. But I actually last year, about this time, a little bit earlier in the spring, I tried starting one. I got a little cheapo notebook from the, just from the discount store in town. And, oh, my nose itches too, so I'll have to do that. Anyway, so I started it, and I didn't get too far. And this year, about the same time of year, probably in March sometime, I just started looking at things mainly on Instagram. You can find them on Pinterest. I don't do a lot of Pinterest. I do have a Pinterest account, or 2 maybe. I have a lot of accounts that I don't use and things. There, eye contact. Anyway, and I just have become obsessed, really obsessed. There's so many different things that people do, and so many ways to do it, and some are very ornate, and they do all this calligraphy, actually I want to start, I took calligraphy when I was in high school. I want to start doing that again too, so it could just be a total detour instead of a tangent. They do that. Some are just very simple. They write in black ink, much like this, although, you know, maybe a little neater. They work on their handwriting a lot, some of them. Some don't care, they just do their writing. I'll probably be somewhere in between. So, and this will come up again later. It's kind of my birthday month. My birthday's next week, so I have been buying a lot of stuff the past couple weeks, and I sort of chalk it up to having a birthday coming, and this way I get what I want. Is that, I know, you have to do a little of that, I think. It's like when you do Christmas shopping or other things. It's always good to get yourself just a little something. It doesn't have to be a lot, but you know, just a little. And I love notebooks. Yeah. So I'll get another one at Christmas time, because hopefully this one will last me. Anyway, it's green. I think it's beautiful. I did want purple, but they were out. And it is a Leuchtturm 1917. There are 249 pages. It has a dot grid, which I don't know if that will show up. I think it might. I think I'm zoomed in enough. So you can have the organization capability of grid or graph paper, which I usually get everything in graph paper. Now I've found this, so I'm sold. It comes with its own index, and then you start, and I put in a calendar for the year, and then this is over here is where I can put things that come up that are beyond, I figure this beyond the current month I'm working on, so you write it in, and then when you get to that month, you put it in that month's stuff. I have a thing for goals. I may do some business goals or personal goals. I have books to read and holidays and birthdays. I haven't written anything in. I've just been filling in the headings right now. I'm going to keep going. Then this is for ideas. Some are for social media. I think that's this side, and this side is for knitting and designing and stash or yarn dyeing. Writing down what works and what doesn't work in the notebook, so that the big selling point is to make it work for you, because so many of the planners people buy are just set up in such a hard structured way that they stop using them. So this is to make it that way, to keep drawing you back. The very last 2 pages, I put one that I'm calling the Way in the Future log for things for next year, and this is just different medications that I'm on, because I am on some. And when I go places, it's nice to know when they ask what I take or how, you know, all that. And I just sort of don't generally know, and that's okay. And it comes with a nice little pocket in the back, kind of like the Moleskines. And I think I'm going to get the rest of the year in it. It shouldn't be too hard. Anyway, if you're interested, I don't know when it will be. Probably not till later this week or maybe next week. And that's just going to be real short ones, 10 or 15 minutes, if that long. But it'll be for me, but they'll be called Start with Lime. Unless, can you do 2? I guess I could put in a new YouTube account, but right now I'm not going to worry about that. So that's the new obsession. And one thing in that I did, you might remember, I have books that I want to read. One thing I have that I do, it's sort of a, I don't know what you'd call it, a behavior that I have, is when I read a lot I don't knit, and when I knit a lot I don't read. I mean, at all. I can do things online, I can do little magazine articles, but 2 pages in a book is kind of rough. When I don't read, I'll read 3 or 4 books a week. So it's kind of odd. So right now I've got a whole new program that I'm working on. I leave my phone downstairs at night because I have discovered that I do stay up later when I have the phone upstairs charging, which I usually do. Because, as I'm trying to get to sleep and things keep popping into mind, I look them up. And, that doesn't help. It just gets me all wound up again. So that's downstairs, and I've started reading. I've been reading. I didn't bring it down. But if you know about Christopher Moore, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, you need to go look him up because he's really, really funny. This one is called Secondhand Souls. I think it's his newest. It's a continuation of one he wrote, I don't know, a few years ago. I don't know how long ago. But he has several. He does takeoffs on Shakespeare. There's a couple with that. He's got a King Lear version and a Merchant of Venice, which I haven't read either of those. I should. He wrote one about Impressionists called Sacre Bleu, about this blue paint that was kind of a Faustian type thing. You used this paint and you became great, and then you owed the paint givers. I don't remember what they were called. Anyway, and then he's got a bunch set around San Francisco and the California coast, and this is part of that group. Anyway, Christopher Moore, look him up. He's great. He's got, 10 or 15 books out there, so you could read for a while. So knitting. Yeah, I have been knitting and I have been reading both at the same time, so that's very exciting. I have finished objects, and one's over there. One moment, I will go get it. I won't be long, I don't think. And Robbie might get up and keep you company. Oh hush. Oh yeah, he got all his shots yesterday, so he's all up to date, and he got a big new, it's about that big, right in there somewhere, it's big. It's a bone tag. It's a tag shaped like a dog bone that has all the information about his new rabies shot on it. So, anyway, he's all up to date, and soon he'll be legal again, because you got to have all the shots before you can get them licensed. Kind of like cars. Anyway, April socks are done. I couldn't remember what month it was last week. Last month. These, yeah. They're done. They're lovely. I love them. I've worn them a lot and washed them now. There's the other one. They have this little, it's an EXO cable down the side. And this is the better one to show. They have a little, just one single repeat of that on the heel. It's hard to see in this yarn. I know a solid color would be much better for this. I might get one and do that someday. We'll see. Anyway, so that's my one finished object. And my other one, I'm so excited. I started this last fall, and it didn't take me nearly as long as the one before. Where is it? How do I hold it up? Not that way, this way. I finished my doodler. This was last year's Stephen West mystery shawl. I love this little corner of it where you've got everything just spreading out. And I did okay. I was a little slow. The big light gray section in the center. Here, go that way a little bit. And this way a little bit. Anyway, the light gray section in the center was the first clue. I was a little behind on that. The cable edge here was the second clue. That went very quickly. And then the big, I call it a ruffle, but it's not really ruffled, but the big wavy edge took forever. Every row I did, I cared less and less and less. I put it down for a long time, and I'd do a couple rows and just care less than less and put it down for a while. And finally, I ran out of something to do, and I needed something simple somewhere. So I did it. I finished it. And I'm glad. I love the colors. I don't know about the shawl itself. It'll be okay, I guess. Or it can be a present. We'll see. Anyway, for some reason, when I started doing this podcast and I had this in progress, I wanted to show what my series, I've done 3 of the Stephen West Mystery Knit-alongs now, the last 3, this one and last year's and the one before. And I thought there was something to be discovered, discovered in my progression of them, the colors that I used. The first one I did was this one. I think it was called Color Craving. Anyway, it's huge. That's the top. That's the bottom. But I really like it. It's fun. I usually end up folding it in half and wearing it more as a scarf this way. Let this be dangling and, you know. So I dyed these colors just for this. You read when somebody's doing a mystery knit along, especially when it's someone big like Stephen West or Boo Knits or Rami. Everybody gets into the threads on Ravelry and says, oh, what about these colors? What about these? I like these colors. What colors do you like? I like these. I don't know. I have all these. I have 18 different colors. Which ones would you pick out of those? They do all these different things. And so I was thinking I'd try to step outside of my comfort zone a bit. The blue and the gray are my comfort zone, and the orange is not, but I like it. I mean, orange and blue, orange and gray, it works. And it's not a bright, it's a burnt kind of orange. And I liked it. It was very nice, and it works. It's a nice little extra added bit of color for, whatever. Here, I keep looking at the other side, but it's got different colors on both sides. So it works. And then the one after that, this was Color Craving. I think this one's Color Affection, maybe? I don't think he went as far as Affliction, but I think it is Color Affection. And it's this huge semicircular shawl with the different stitch patterns, the garter stitch and brioche and a slip stitch, and then this one is just knitting too, but it's when you knit, how you do it, you move it back and forth so you don't have to do any purling, and then it's got the little garter stitch chevron at the bottom. And this time I wanted to use stuff I had, and none of these I think were full balls. They were all just the ends of things where you do something and you still have a couple hundred yards left. And these were all things. The gray, this is gray, it's mixed with a kid silk that I had a little scrap of just up in these 2 sections up at the top. But it's a gray tussa silk that I got it as an undyed yarn from Dye for Yarn. Yes, it was for a Boo Knits thing a few years ago. And I dyed it this gray. So I like the gray. I like the blue. I'd been dyeing a lot of blue, sort of a purpley blue as samples for someone who was doing a big custom order. And then a friend wanted something in those colors, and I did them, and it wasn't quite right, so this is what I had left. Anyway, so that's the blue. The purple was, well, here, the yellow first, was something that Laura Nelkin lives sort of in my neighborhood in this part of New York State, anyway, the western part. She came to the Finger Lakes Fiber Festival, also known as Hemlock, and she bought this from me, and then she took one of her designs and made a new one using it was a variation on one of hers, but she used this yellow yarn for it. So she did hers in blue though. It was the same yarn but blue. Not quite this blue. No, it wasn't quite that blue. So I had a bunch of this left over because I figure, especially then, I thought, if they're gonna, use my yarn for something, I should make that pattern that they've done. And I have one that I still need to do. I'm way behind on that. Only two designers have used my yarn for patterns, and so I made one, and I need to make the other one. Unfortunately, it was released right about the time I stopped doing the big lacy shawls. So, yeah, we'll get to it. Anyway, and then the purple. The purple is a little more of a story. I don't know if you can see color real clearly on that. It started out as orange. It's a merino singles, 4-ply weight. They're all sock weights, fingerings. And I didn't like the orange with everything, so I overdyed it and made it purple, which I like. It does have a little orange sticking through in some places, which gives it some nice depth. But this whole shawl just really doesn't do it for me. I don't know. The colors, I think it's the yellow. I was thinking earlier I should have made it a little greener, and I might have liked it better. But people like it. I don't know. I don't know why I don't. I just don't. Oh, that's that. So this is the yarn that was dyed just for it. This is the one that just sort of was a hodgepodge. And then this was dyed for it too. It's not the yarn I carry. It's from Kramer Mills, which that's in Pennsylvania, and oh, that's the back. How could I show the back? There's the front. Anyway, it's a mill in Pennsylvania. It's an old mill that's been around for a long time. And they have both dyed yarns and undyed yarns. They make yarns for other, I think someone said Dream and Color uses them for their yarns. But it's not, those aren't the same yarns that they sell. And this was something that a sales rep gave to my friend Mara, who used to have the yarn store in town. When she closed, she gave away all the samples that she had, and she wanted me to have the undyed ones. So there were maybe six or seven different yarns from Kramer that they'd given her. And so these are 3 of them. I don't think I'd ever use any of them again. They weren't, they're all merino. It's 3 different yarns, 3 different types. Is that a single? No, none of them are singles. I thought one was. They're scratchy. They're not great. So that's good to know, because I've been wondering about their yarns and trying to find a yarn source closer to home. And we'll work on that one later. Now where did I had notes, and I think I covered them. Yes, I did. Oh, I forgot to show you. Robbie got a Frisbee when he got his shots. So that was nice. He hasn't chewed it up yet, which is sort of amazing. So that's the finished objects. Now I do have a couple works in progress, and I'm still behind on the socks. These are, I showed you the yarn last time. These are the May socks. They're for my husband. It's a merino nylon cashmere blend. They say it's a DK weight, but it's not quite. I kept having to, I'd started with needles for DK, and I just kept having to go down. I think these are 3s, or 3.25 millimeter. So I'm here, I've done the heel turn, the gusset. I'm just trying to get the foot done. It does go really fast. I think it's more of a sport weight. But it goes fast. It's really soft and squishy. I'm not doing them real tight, so he's going to have to not wear them out too much. You can wear them around the house or for light duty wear, because otherwise you'll tear them apart. So anyway, there's that. That'll be done. The other one should be done by the time I re-podcast here. And then I'm doing a knit-along. I'm doing a shawl, a lace shawl knit-along, but it's a simpler lace. And I almost did it all in garter stitch, but there's things that aren't working, that wouldn't work too well with that. Anyway, this is the raindrops shawl. I don't know, there's little, can you see the yarn overs at the top up here, right up here, under the cable. It's got stockinette with some little purl bumps here, and then it goes into growing sizes of yarn overs. There's, I don't know how many, 3 or 4 repeats with the single, and then you get a double and a triple and a quadruple and so on. The yarn is one I had that I thought was really pretty, even though I don't really like pink. And it's got some brown and purple spots and some yellow too. There's some gold color spots in it too. It's a single. It's a merino and silk. 70% merino, 30% silk. I call the yarn base itself Aria. Based on the other single that I have, which is merino only, and I call that solo. So it's sort of a singing metaphors there. So there's this. I'm kind of behind. I'm doing a knit along with Sally of Wool Diaries, and the one who Christina Wall is the designer of this. It's called Raindrop Shawl. There's a few of them, so it's the one with the person in the big yellow coat, which is bright. It's easy, makes it easier to find. They're both doing knit alongs, and I know I'm doing Sally's. I don't know if I think I'm doing Christina's. Hers ends at the end of the month, so Tuesday. Hers is over. I won't be done by Tuesday. Next Tuesday. It's a week from tomorrow. I won't be done. Sally, when she first suggested having this knit along, said, you do 2 rows a day, you'll be done, because she's giving you 2 months to do it. And there are, let's see, there's a couple hundred rows. Oh no, not like that. 119 rows, and that includes the bind off. She writes her patterns. Here, I'm going to flash it fast and keep it moving, so hopefully you won't see anything. She writes them in a chart form. So each row is on a line on the chart, and she is very nice. She puts a stitch count at the end of each one, which at the beginning is very helpful. Right now I don't use it anymore. I don't count them. Anyway, that's done. I thought I was going to do a knit along in my group too, but I haven't ever put a thread up, so I should. So yes, I'll be doing a knit along with this too, and it'll be ending when Sally's does. So the end of June is the final day to register, and I have a little, I should have gotten that. I need to make a note so next time I do. I'm going to have a little like Notions bag. It's not really a project bag, it's a little zipper pouch, and a skein of yarn. So those will be the prices for this. And that's all the whips in progress. Now, coming up, the only thing I have planned, although I'm really liking the lace weight sweaters, like, what is the one? The one that everybody, featherweight, that type. And I think there's a new magazine out that I subscribed to for some reason. I think it was during my buying binge a couple weeks ago, called Making. It's put out by Carrie Bostic. I don't know if it's Hodge or Hogue. Subscriptions for this next year I think have closed, but you can buy individual ones. Some stores have them, or you can find them online. On Instagram, she is Mattermade, M-A-D-D-E-R, M-A-D-E. So you can order a single issue that way. I think there is a lightweight one that is just, it's a short sleeve and would make the sleeves a little longer, but then it has a lace band down around the collar and down the front. It doesn't button or anything. That looks nice. I might try something like that. I'm thinking that I need a lightweight sweater. And I also have discovered, and I left that book upstairs too, a pattern. I got some, when our yarn shop closed, I got a bunch of linen. She had been wanting it, and I just could never decide on a color, so I just went for this. It's not quite navy blue, but nearly. It's a very deep royal blue, I guess. And this sweater, it's in a book I have called, I don't know. And Kristen Tindike, I think, is the designer and who wrote the book. Anyway, it's a top-down sweater. It's a cardigan. The way she has it is she has little pearl or maybe even seed stitch stripes coming down it, and then along the bottom of the sweater and of the sleeves is a feather and fan border about that big. So I think I'm going to do it and put a little bit more of an eyelet faggoting type stripe down it, and then keep the feather and fan and have that be my linen cardigan. I think that'll be nice. I can make it a little longer too. Because I have a lot of yarn for that. And then I'll have a nice linen summer cardigan. Summer, fall, spring. It's a good one. Excuse me. Let's see. Oh, here, I have to skip ahead then because I have to have a sip. But I got a new mug. I'm very thrilled with it. My friend Claire made it, and in the next town over, they've started an artist co-op, and that's where she's selling them and where I got it. I thought I should get two, but I don't know if I'm going to get the other one. But anyway, excuse me. I'll get back to the co-op here in a minute. It's my new mug. I love it. Same tea. Chamomile, little stevia, nah. And so, all I have coming up for knitting is my June socks. So they're going to be birthday socks for me, so I'm going to go out and buy yarn for them. What do you think? I think that's perfectly reasonable. I've been looking online. I've been, excuse me, looking around. And I know there's a store in Rochester that has Crazy Albert Ball. And I think I'm going to get some Crazy Albert Ball and have that be my birthday socks. Because they're crazy. And I might even go totally wacko and get the one that's like pink and green. Which, I said before, I'm not a pinky person, but I have a pink shawl. I bought other pink yarn. Maybe old age is addling my color sense. I don't know. So it's going to be pink. It's pink and green and white, and it might have a little blue or maybe even purple or something in it too. I might get that one because that one always just stands out, and it's so bright and cheery, and I like it. And the others would just be a combination of different blues and greens, and that's what I always do. And there's that are nah. And the other ones that are different than that are kind of earthy toned, and that's nah. So I think I'm going to get the pink and green. I may order it. I may go up to Rochester to get it. It depends. And that's all I have coming up for knitting. I think I'm going to use the Sockmatician toe-up pattern because I'd like to do maybe more toe-up socks or get a little more comfortable with toe-up socks. And then put a Hermione's everyday pattern into the, the body of the sock, the foot and body. Might find a different pattern. You never know. But I think I'm going to start with the toe up and do it that way. And so that's my June socks upcoming. What else in June? I showed you one time long ago about the shawls that I wanted to finish, and I haven't done a thing with them since. So maybe if I can get this shawl, this pink one done, I can get back to the others. It'll sort of like reading, it'll get me back on track. Anyway, other things I'm doing are I want to sew and sew. That's one of the things, and I bought books. I've been buying books. I bought a sewing book called Simply Modern Sewing. It's Japanese patterns, and they're wonderful. They're just some elastic waist basic crop pants that I want to make because I don't have any pants for summer now. They've all worn out, and I have lost some weight, so they don't fit. Nothing I have fits. So there's a couple of dresses or things that you can make into dresses, some shirts. There's not a lot of patterns, but each pattern has at least 2 or 3 ways you can make it. So there's some you can make as a top or a tunic. You can't see my hands, but I'm moving down. Or a dress. There's a couple of those. Some that are tops, and then you can make them longer into dresses. And then the pants, and I think there's like 3 or 4 skirts that you can do different things with and different lengths. And one nice thing is with Japanese patterns, they usually are sized for Japanese people because, that's who's thinking about doing it. And so for Americans, especially if you're taller or a little larger, they're quite small. Even the large and extra large sizes are quite small. These seem to have had some thought put into the sizing of them, and they are pretty good size. I haven't looked at the pattern itself, but in the book where it tells the measurements, it's like, oh, well, that's okay, that'll work. So that's good. I'm excited about that and not having to change them too much. So I hope I get sewing. If I start sewing, I'll start showing you guys sewing. I need pants for summer, like I said, and some of the shirts would be really nice, and I've started looking at online fabric stores. Oh my God, don't go there. Don't, if you want to sew. And so I have a couple that have shopping carts full of all different kinds of linen and linen blends for nice pants or, some lightweight, flowy, airy tops. What else? And then there's one on Etsy. Japanese fabrics and prints. Oh yeah, it's dangerous. It's called Miss Matatabi. And yeah, I don't have anything in my cart there yet. I just look and go, because it's so nice. They're just really nice. Anyway, so we'll see where this goes. Yeah, when I started buying all this stuff. Oh, I never showed you for the bullet journal, I also bought pens. I bought pens and other pens and other pens and other pens. And let's see, I had a couple of these and then I bought others. And then, if you know about book darts, they're wonderful. I recommend these to everybody. When I worked at a bookstore, I managed a bookstore, a small independent bookstore nearby for a few years. We had these. They are little metal tabs. We'll call it a tab. Put it on here. You can slip on. They're great for being bookmarks. They're great for anything. If you do a journal type thing and there's pages you want to be able to get back and forth to and you don't have bookmarks, they're great for that. One side is all pointy, so if you're reading a book, you can put it right up to the line that you stopped at, and you know where you stopped and where you start. And then the other side is just sort of round. But They are wonderful. So I got a pack of them. I got the three metal packs. So this one is brass. There's an aluminum and a copper also. And I'm excited. I love them. I love notebooks. I love pens. Have I said that a few times already? So there's those. Oh wait, now I lost my list. I had a list. I know, I keep trying to. There's one last thing, is the co-op where I got my lovely mug. You can tell me if you think I need to get the second one or not. She makes them in pairs mostly. We have sort of a collection of her mugs, but they're all put away right now, so we're thinking we're gonna change that. But I only got one. I might get two. I don't know. We'll see. So one thing, they asked me if I had anything to put in the co-op, and I said no, but I'm thinking of getting some kits put together. And I told a friend that, and she said she had this idea. So I don't know if it's her kit or my kit. What she had seen somewhere, she travels a lot, and this may have been in Denmark, or maybe the Azores. She was there too. She was both of those places over the winter. She saw some knitted wrist warmers. And then they had a little piece of felt attached to them, and then that felt had embroidery on it. So I was doing a special order of some yarn the other day, and she bought this felt, and I just threw it in. So I have this, let's see, let me get a white page or something to put this behind. That'll show up better, I think. So I came up with this felt. That's in front of the camera. That, and then this one, it's just a little strip. There's not much there, and you'll see why it looks different in a second here. She found this place online called the Felt Pod. So F-E-L-T-P-O-D. And she ordered felt. She just went crazy. She got all different colors. But the little strip is in this sort of grayish, natural-ish color. That's why it's darker. Can't really tell that it's darker. Here, I'll show you. It's darker and it's plainer. It's small, so it didn't have the surface area to get a lot of variation in color. Although this side did kind of a little bit. Let's see here, put that there too. So she got that. These are the two she gave me to play with. And then she got, I'm not gonna, well, maybe I will. The wider stuff, she got a sort of an off-white natural color. And I put it in, and somewhere I wrote down dimensions because it did shrink. I need to know how much it shrinks in the dyeing. So anyway, I think we're going to put those kind of kits together to sell in the co-op. And then, did I say they would have, put them on and then have embroidery over the top? So we have to come up with that. And she was thinking silk embroidery floss, embroidery thread floss, I guess it would be. Something a little shiny, and she wants them to be luxurious. Little treats for your wrists. So we'll see. I don't know what these little bits would be. They could be embroidered or put on top as little embellishments, or I was thinking they could almost be used as something to hook it all together. A strap to come around the back. And keep them on your hand. I think that the knitted part would be in the round. Is how I'm envisioning it. I don't know how she is. We haven't talked a lot about that kind of stuff about this. But this would still be could be a nice touch to put that on with a pretty button and have it to hold it a little more firmly on your wrist, because there will be, if we use this size, we may go to a bigger size or maybe cut it longer so that we get a longer strip. There will be quite a big spot of just plain sort of lacy knit, so it might be nice to have this a little strap there just to give it a little more substantiality. Word? Substantial. Make it a little more substantial. We'll just leave it with that. And that's about it. Let's see. Socks? Coming? Gone? Imaginary? Books? Shawls? What else? Let's see, notes. I should write down all these people I've talked about now so I can put them in the show notes. I hope I get the show notes up. I'm bad if I don't. Just get a hold of me and ask me what something was. So I should do that. And that's all. I will be back in a couple weeks and we'll do it again. The puppies didn't bark. They're just crashed out, one on a chair, one on the floor. So that's good. They got all their barking out early and it wore them out for the next round. And nobody's here. So yeah, it's gonna work. It'll be good. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you do come back, and I hope you can like this and maybe join the group on Ravelry, which is called PROPANICUS Moon. I might change the name a little since to make the podcast not so different from the yarn brand. But I didn't want it to be the PROPANICUS Moon podcast. I don't know why. I guess because I don't want us to just focus on the yarn. So we'll see. Yes, do like this, do that. Follow me on Instagram, PROPANICUS_moon there. BSARAH on Ravelry and the PROPANICUS Moon group that I just mentioned. And what else? Oh, STARTWITHLIME. I guess that's it. So thank you again, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Weird.